All right. Welcome to another exciting edition of The Vibe with Leon. My name is Innocent Kalimashi, your presenter. And trust me, today it is another exciting day. Why am I saying so? Today we've moved away from entertainment. Last time actually we had Kaffir on set. But today we are talking to Maxwell Chongu, one of the vibrant, one of the people that have made noise. Political wise, social media wise, Big Brother wise, mention it, entrepreneur wise. We want to find out more about Maxwell Chongu. Most of you just know the other side of Maxwell Chongu. We also want to know the serious part and the official part of Maxwell Chongu. Join me as I talk to him.
First of all, Leon and the team, welcome to my house.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we just want to find out, many people just see you on social media, they just see, okay, this is a cadre, PF cadre. They don't know the professional side of you. What do you do business-wise?
Yeah, I've worked before in my life, and I've worked for NAC 2000, a clearing company at the airport. I've also worked for Zega Limited. I've worked for Spencon and Polyphase. I've worked for Zesco, and I think that was the last company that I worked for in 2007. After that, I told myself that I don't need to be reporting to anyone for work. I don't need to work for people anymore. I need to start my own small business so that I can employ people instead of being employed. So I started my company, and I think I started it in 2006-07, you know. So before PF formed government in 2008, I had 3 nightclubs, namely Big Brother 1 in Avondale Complex, Big Brother 2 in Garden, Big Brother 3 by Chris Moore on your way to Kalimba Farms. Then I also had a running car business where I was selling vehicles along Kwazi Road. And then I also had 2 boutiques, one in Charleston and one right opposite Lumumba bus station. Double story. So I have been in business. People don't know, they think maybe whatever I'm doing it because I'm in PF. I've been in business before PF formed government, and like I've said, all those businesses I had were before PF formed government. When PF formed government in 2011, I think the new business that I involved myself into was to I became a supplier, so to speak, and under Ministry of Defense, and Zambia Air Force, ZNS, are some of my clients. Yeah,
those are huge, huh? And actually, there are certain people that don't know actually your educational background. Which college were you at?
I was at Evelyn College.
Ah, nice.
I did marketing and London Chamber of Commerce and Industry, OCCI by then. Then I went to NIPA, where I also did part of accounts.
Wow. Okay, so now viewers, I know you saw a lot of speculations that were running on social media that actually this is not Maxwell Chongu's house. It's actually a lodge. I'm seeing you've got even some drinks here, hey?
Yeah, we've got some drinks because the idea is with this COVID-19, this is what I call the Cadre's Palace. The idea is to stay away from crowded places and then maybe just sit and enjoy my free time with the drinks that I follow out there. You know, I know a lot of people would say, no, what about Ichirimba? No, Babakula and Banani. So Ichirimba Mochava and then Chirimulia. So if I want the noise, I'll just have it here to protect myself from COVID-19. People might say, no, maybe Fiabufi.
That's what I wanted to tell you. Actually, so actually, it might look like they're just empty bottles, eh?
No. This is real drinks, and when I'm stressed, the feeling of social media, come here and I'm a whiskey guy. I'm a whiskey guy, so I'll come here and then just relax myself with these drinks and stay away from trouble. You know, I feel sorry for, may his soul rest in peace, Msenda Lukuku, the one who said it was a lodge. It's not a lodge, it's actually a house. It's like you have seen, it's a house, and that's it. The other portion that they were saying, no, it's a lodge where the kids were. I think that's the first room you went to.
Yes.
It's a TV room for my kids, and here it's strictly for myself. Actually, you'll be shocked if I was telling you that here I don't even watch DSTV, because here it's strictly for Netflix and everything, and then the DSTV is for them that side.
Oh, wow. So actually, talking about social media, how do you manage to do the transfer process from negative to positive when people write false stories about you?
Sometimes I just let it flow or slide, because it's difficult. The more one thing I've learned as a public figure is that the more you want to go to social media to correct what they have written, the more they talk bad about it. So in most cases, I've developed this strategy of saying, look, let them write what they want to write. That's it. Because I know the truth, and those that are closer to me, they know the truth.
Oh, yeah. Now, I know people followed you very much. Actually, the time when we followed you very much when you were in the Big Brother house, and we saw the chemistry that was there between you and Lerato. What happened? I believe it continued even after Big Brother.
Yeah, that was like in 2007.
Yeah.
And I would say yes, after the show, maybe for some couple of months after that, it continued. But later on, we had to go our separate ways. And yeah, I moved on, and hence me having these kids you're seeing around at home.
Okay.
Yeah.
But before we move forward, what really happened? What really transpired?
With?
Why did you end the relationship? Because we saw some chemistry in the Big Brother house.
You see, the relationship started because of the show itself, the Big Brother Africa, a reality show. And we were enclosed in one place, confined to one area for a specific period of time. And with that, maybe, of course, feelings could have developed. But after that, now we had to face the real world. We were outside, and maybe later on we just agreed, like, okay, maybe this can't go on any further. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Coming back to your... You're a family man, huh?
Of course I am.
So we saw you flashing out presents and so forth. The birthday for your madam, it was something that was super big.
Yeah.
And it brought a lot of talk on social media. Others were saying it was just a way of... I'll put it, is it boasting? So... that's how it came out.
you see, for those that classify it that it's boasting, those are people that have got what I call poverty mentality.
Okay.
You see, we have seen footballers. We've seen the likes of Stopila Sunzu appreciating his woman with a vehicle that was worth about $100,000, $80,000 by then. We have seen others, even young guys like Mwepu and them, they're buying gifts for their loved ones. And we've seen other people even buying for their parents. I think Patson Dak has bought a house in Salama Park for the mother. With me, my mother's got a house. And I think the only gift I needed to give in terms of just to appreciate for whatever probably she has done and she has gone through. Some of us that have chosen this public life, and we get criticism from all sorts of angles. So for being there, I think and giving me kids, I thought of appreciating her by giving her a house and a vehicle. And that's just one way of setting up the bar high to say, look, people must not look down upon young politicians, but because in politics they think when you're young you're just a cadre.
Exactly,
you can't be a businessman, you can't be a technocrat. But when it's the likes of freedoms, because in politics or others, then they'll say those are politicians. So when they look at a person like me, they'll say he's a low life, low class. Why is he? You must find find better things to do than being a cadre. So to set the record straight, I had to show them that we're capable of doing that, and I bought the house for her as a gift on her birthday.
That was good.
Yeah.
Okay, now what led you to venture into politics?
I've always been a politician in my life. I think in our family, I'm the only one who's a politician.
Yeah.
I've always been a politician from the word
Yeah,
go. And
I
you know,
think,
when I was born, maybe that is what triggered the button for me to go into politics. Because when I was born, I'm the only child my parents organized a party for.
Wow.
And they put me in a certain room, and everyone was there celebrating. As they were doing so, 2 white doves came in that room, using the door, not the windows or anything.
Wow.
And they started making circles on top of me, you know, hovering around me.
Wow.
And everyone that attended that party on that day, they told my parents to say, this guy, there's something about him. He's a blessed. So maybe he might be a president one day. He might be a big figure in our nation. He might be a pastor. He might be a prophet. He might be this. So there were all sorts of things that were said. But as I was growing up, you see, leadership comes from God.
Exactly, yeah.
Others might feel jealous. Others might like you. But when I was growing up, I kept on seeing something about me where whatever I'll be doing, people will try to do the same thing.
You are trying to follow.
They will try to follow. And then I just realized at a tender age that I was blessed with the gift of influence.
Wow.
Because in whatever I try to do, a lot of people try to do it. I'm sure you have seen even now in PF. When I said, okay, I'll be doing this, I want to stand. Everyone even when I did not mean it, everyone was there.
They want to
when
stand.
I said, no, I'm a commander, everyone was a commander everywhere.
Commander one.
You know, so
Yeah.
God has blessed me with that, and with what my parents told me, I now believe, because I've met different men of God, and they keep on telling me the same when I explain that to them, to say, look, God has blessed you with a gift of influence. I think you're a natural born politician. Some church leaders have actually told me to say, look, there are 2 people in politics. There are those that are in politics because they want a better life. There are those that are in politics, they want a job. They want money, they want business opportunities. But for you, Max, it's God's calling for you to be in politics.
Exactly,
and
yeah.
I do believe that it's God's calling for me to be in politics, because I think I've given actually much more to the people than what I've gotten.
Yeah. You've brought a new vibe to politics, and you've been there for so long when it comes to politics. What has made you to last the test of time? I know it's not it's something that is not easy, because you find that a lot of people will try to pull you down, others will try to gossip about you within the party, even outside the party. What has made you to stand the test of time?
I think, you see, destiny can only be delayed and never denied. You see, when I look at myself, I remember one, they call themselves prophets. One prophet actually invited me for prayers. And when I went to meet this guy, the first thing that came to my mind, I was like, oh, you? By telling me to contribute something. And the man of God, when I reached his house, he told me, I called you here because there are certain things I need to tell you. You being around now, you've already existed in the Bible way back. Then I asked him, what do you mean? Then he was telling me, let me give you these characters that describe you. So it brought the issue of Mordecai in the Bible. He said there was a guy in the Bible called Mordecai. He worked for the king. He was loyal, dedicated, determined, and hardworking. You know, he did everything for the king. But when the king rose to the throne of kingship, he was blocked, he was beaten, he was insulted, he was locked up at some point by people. They never wanted him to be near the king until God intervened and made the king call Mordecai. And when the king was calling Mordecai, those that were jealous of him, those that said bad things about them, the king asked them, what would you want me to do for you, because you have worked for me this long? And you know, so everyone said, no, get me the most expensive horse, parade me in town. Then the king said, go and get Mordecai and do that to Mordecai. So when I looked at that lifestyle, it explains what I've gone through. I've gone through a lot, and for me, since I was meant to be in politics, I have just decided to develop a thick skin. There are things that people say in terms of criticism, both positive and negative, but I'll pick that which is right, and I actually gain my energies from negative elements. You know, he also taught me about the guy called So. I'm sure you know So.
Yes.
So was the condemned, just like Max prior to 2016 general election. Everyone would say he's violent, he's this, he moves with gangs, this and that and that and that. But God has got a special way of using people that you least expect. And the man of God told me, you're one of those that God is going to use in politics. It might not be now or what.
My house from the stone that was rejected.
Yeah, exactly. You see, so such things.
Yeah.
And then he also told me about the story of the young David. When everyone thought David is not the one, God proved to the people wrong by making sure that David rose to the throne of kingship. So when I look at this, and I come from this Catholic background, both Catholic and Jehovah's Witness, and you know Jehovah's Witness, they've got this culture of reading too much. So when I look at all these things, I put them together. These are things that make me so strong in politics.
Oh, good.
I'm unmovable.
Wow. I know. I would love actually to recommend to say that you are strong. Actually, you're one of the top strongest people.
Of course, I am.
And influential actually in the game. Now, we've seen a lot of talks, actually on social media about you and Innocent Kalimashi. Do you have a beef between the two of you?
I don't even have beef with Innocent Kalimashi. Innocent Kalimashi is a PF member. Innocent Kalimashi, at the time that everyone was away from him, I was there for him. I think we come a long way. We've been brothers for a long time, and we've been friends for a long time. I'll tell you the truth that even that video that went viral at some point, I knew that Innocent and myself, we can never be physical to each other. We know where we come from. But it's a pity that maybe my brother has chosen to mingle with wrong company. And maybe in the process they might be releasing such videos and what. But I think I'm way above that today as we speak. And all I can say is that I wish him well, and I wish him to quickly realize that he really needs some people that he might offend along the way. And for me, I'll just wait for the right time when he matures enough and understands that the people that really mean well for him are those that maybe he has chosen to disrespect or insult using social media. So for me personally, there's nothing personal. I know where Innocent stays. He's a neighbor there. I know him very well. And even when people thought, no, there's no need to be with Innocent, I was there. When he wronged a lot of senior leaders in the party, I was there. I was the only one that went to plead with the leaders to welcome Innocent back. And we'll just wait for the day that you realize that actually the people that mean well for him are those that might look to be far away from him.
Okay. So others, we saw different groups within social media. Others were saying maybe you guys have just staged up something whereby you just want to gain political mileage or social media followership, whereby maybe in private you are very close, but in public is something that it's just a staged up thing.
I am the last Mr. Evelyn on College modeling contest. That was in 2002. Okay?
I like that one.
And I want you to listen very carefully. I am the last Mr. Evelyn on College in 2002.
Yes.
So, to those that were students at Evelyn on College, NIPA, ZICAS, ZIBIC, all these institutions, even the University of Zambia, I was already famous to them. You know what I mean? So there was no need of me to seek for more fame. I am the first male person to represent Zambia in a reality show, Big Brother Africa. That was in 2007. And that is a stage that gave me the fame, not only in Zambia, but even outside our borders. So I cannot do things to go and seek for maybe fame or, no, I can't. And I'm not trying to boast. I think I am a brand of PF, because even if you were to get a grade 5 or grade 7 and say, do you know who Maxwell Chongu is? They'll tell you he's a PF guy. So there is no need for me to stage such kindergarten kind of arrangements to just gain fame, because the fame, I already have it. It's a blessing from God. So, they say leaders that are preordained by God do not go out to look for fame. The fame will follow them. Even the influence will follow them. The people will follow them. Yeah. So it was not staged. But I knew definitely that it was never going to be physical, because we've never been physical with each other when it comes to maybe people expected us to fight physically. It's not possible unless if one was to organize a charity boxing tournament, maybe to raise funds. Yeah, that can happen. But we've got that respect, despite all the insults you saw or whatever happened. There's that respect between the two of us that we can never be physical to each other.
Okay. Yeah. Are you an aspirant candidate for PF? Are you standing?
You see, I laugh at most of the people nowadays when asked that question, and those that have declared to say they're standing.
Yes.
Because to me, it's not the question of Maxwell Chongu because you are famous, because you are a PF member, because you were in Big Brother, because you've done that, to say, no, I'm going to stand as a member of parliament for Kaffir constituency. No, it doesn't work like that. It won't even be about the president or the party officials to say, we want you to stand as a member of parliament. It doesn't work like that. And a lot of people have been abusing this statement. I'm standing as a member of parliament. It is about the people on the ground.
Okay.
It is about the people. They'll say, this is the person. You heard even the president said, I am not going to adopt people just because you know the secretary general of the party, or you know the president, or you know people in the party. I want to work with people that are needed by the voters on the ground.
No.
So for me, most of my works that I've been doing, I've been giving back to the community in Kaffir. I've been working with the people on the ground. I've been working with the people that have been directly affected, people that have been neglected, sidelined. And I'm talking about the youth, the women, traditional leaders, those are people that I've been working with on the ground to just try and improve their welfare on the ground. And it has worked perfectly fine. Today, as we speak, maybe if you go into Kaffir district, Kaffir is vast. It starts from Chifuema somewhere here in New Kasama, all the way up to Chanyanya. Lower Zambezi, Chiawa, all that area. When you go that side, they'll tell you that a lot of women have been assisted by our young man, Maxwell Chongu. A lot of traditional leaders in terms of village headmen, headwomen, all that kind of setup, they've been assisted by Max. A lot of youths. When you look at Kaffir, the collapse of KTZ, Kaffir Textiles of Zambia,
yes.
Central Board Builders, and then Bata is operating at not that level, Then the tortoise pace at which the nitrogen chemicals of Zambia is operating has brought in a lot of economic challenges in Kaffir. And you see, Kaffir has been blessed with a lot of talents. If you look at the national team today, you'll find that maybe 5 or 3 players are from Kaffir.
Coming from Kaffir.
But with such economic challenges, a lot of youths find themselves getting involved in vices such as drug abuse, alcohol abuse, illicit sex, gang formation, criminal activities, so to speak. So we're trying to use sport, because sport speaks so many languages. Sport does not know PF or UPND or UNIP or MMD. So we're trying to assist the young people through sport to move them away from such activities, bad activities.
Do you have intentions of standing?
If
Kaffir?
it is within my destiny to lead the people of Kaffir as a member of parliament, then definitely I will. And if the people of Kaffir come to me and tell me you are the right person to represent the people of Kaffir, then I will not hesitate but to contest as a member of parliament. And I can assure you, if I contest, I will win. I will win. I think I'm amongst one of those that is going to break a record in August. Someone who is going to win a seat from a supposedly considered UPND stronghold. I have broken records before. I broke the record in 2002 when I became the first Mr. Evelyn on college, and last actually, modeling contest. Yes. I did the same in 2007 when I became the first male person to represent Zambia in Big Brother Africa. So I don't see any problem. I'm going to break another record just in August here. And after that, I might be your minister in Osaka province.
Ah, yeah. That's nice, huh? But I think, don't you think it's important so that you just open up if you are standing in Kaffir, so that the people can adopt you, the people can to clear up the space, so that you don't confuse the voters.
You see, I'm not confusing the voters as per se. What I'm just doing, I'm trying to work on the ground. A lot of people, they want to rush to the voters when it's that time it's that time for elections. They want to come and say, no, I'll build you a church, I'll build you bridges, I'll do this and this. They start building castles in the air just to get to parliament or to get to the seats they want to. But for me, I'm working on the ground. And when the people feel, okay, Mr. Max, give it a try, there's still time. I think a lot of people have shown interest, and if the people decide to say, look, give it a try, then I will not hesitate.
Okay.
But I don't want to make a wrong decision. I don't want to impose myself on the people of Kaffir. I don't want the party to impose candidates on the people of Kaffir. I want the people of Kaffir to pick the candidate of their choice. And there are so many people, I think we're about 21 in Kaffir that are working on the ground. So those that are going to perform better, definitely, if one is picked, I'll have no problem with it.
Okay. So specifically, why did you choose Kaffir to help out Kaffir other than other constituencies?
It's not only in Kaffir. I have helped in Mazabuka, to the extent where Gary Nkombo thought I was standing. The next day, he called for a very big meeting in Mazabuka.
Wow.
And I have helped in other areas, even here in Lusaka, orphanages, prisons. Go to prisons, they'll tell you that he has donated. I've done that. It's just in me to give back to the community.
Exactly, yeah.
But when my father personally made that effort to say, look, my son, you have lived half of your life in Kaffir, and the people of Kaffir need you more than those in Lusaka. So I had to go back to where I grew up from.
Okay. So what advice are you going to give to the cadres both in PF, UPND, even these other opposition, as we're heading towards elections? What advice can you give in terms of peaceful elections and just having a peaceful campaign as a political figure, a big political figure in the country?
You see, when you talk about advice, when you ask me to give advice, actually my advice can only go up to a certain level, you know.
Yeah,
what is very important is the leaders of these political parties. They need to be the ones in the forefront, because even as much as we give advice, if the leaders themselves do not seem to bring an end to political violence, then it will continue. However, if I was to give my advice to political cadres, political sympathizers, be it MMD, PF, UPND, I want to tell them this. There is no one who has got an NRC which is written PF or UPND or MMD. We are all Zambians. And you see, they keep on saying imitikula empanga. Prior to 1964, when they were fighting for independence, it was the youth that pushed the revolution. Prior to 1991, when they were fighting for democracy, it was the youth that pushed for the revolution. 2011, it was the youth that pushed for the revolution. Now, I think the youth should wake up and realize that they need to be part of decision makers. You cannot always be in the forefront to push for a revolution and you do not contribute. Then you sit and start complaining to say things are not okay. You must stand up, be counted, and be the solution to the problem that we are facing. When it comes to violence, I want to appeal to the youths, regardless of our political affiliation, to realize that supporting a different political party or having a different political agenda is not a crime in Zambia. It's not even a sin in the Bible. You know, it's just a right, and we must respect that. We must learn to coexist and see the need of practicing what I would call issue-based politics, unlike violence. You know, if some of us, we are a product of that, so we know what we have gone through. Maybe it's God's will that I had to go through all those processes to the extent that I went to prison and back, so that I can be a good teacher to others that have never been there. Because some might not even make it. You know, I was shocked when I went to prison. After all those beatings, I was really beaten. I've never seen a person beaten like the way I was beaten that particular time. But when I came back, a well-trained ZAF officer was beaten, I think, by 2 police officers at Woodlands police station, and he died.
Wow.
So to me, it showed that it was not my time to die, but I had to go through all that to explain to the people the dangers of doing that. And I don't want people to go through the same, because they might not be lucky. They might not have that blessing. They might not come back.
Exactly.
You see, so I want to appeal to political cadres, mostly those that have got influence, those that are leading different groups, youthful groups, to keep on teaching fellow young people the need to refrain or resist from any violent related activity, being verbal or physical. Even sometimes the way you dress, you know, all this thing of, hey, commander, I'm a jumbo, shan. They bring about, you want to be commander, shan. It starts from there. The way you talk, it starts from there. It's not only about that. And I also want to appeal to the Minister of Home Affairs to see the need of recalling all the licenses for guns and restarting the process again, so that we can keep these guns off the streets, because there are too many guns that are on the streets that are unlicensed, and we're heading towards an election which becomes a very dangerous situation to innocent citizens.
Yes.
Yeah.
Come 2021 election, God willing, you scope the Kaffir seat and you become a member of parliament. What are you going to do different? What are you going to do for the youths? Because we've seen the lesser seats in parliament for the youths, and the youths haven't been represented favorably per se. What are you going to do for the youths? What's your vision for the youth?
You see, I think number one, I would advocate for the youths to be given an equal share or a fair share when it comes to enjoying the government cake. You know, there is one word that I dislike, mostly in politics. When it's time to work, to campaign and do all those things, they say, no, let's go and work together. Same. But when it's time to eat, then they start using the word protocol. And I hate that. So when God willing, I'm elected as a member of parliament, and of course, maybe I'm blessed with the position of minister, or I'm in parliament, I'll advocate for youth participation in whether key making decisions, you know, enjoyment of government cake. But what I mean is that we can't be saying, look, youths must go to school, Bayaku school. You stay at the University of Zambia maybe for 6 years or 7 years. You graduate. The next thing they start asking for 5 years work experience from. Where are you going to get it from?
You're just from
college. So because they come up with all these ancient rules, you know, because they want to protect their jobs, they use the excuse of saying we want experience, all this kind of thing. We will advocate for a system of internship, where as you go to the University of Zambia, you should be attached to a government institution. So that if you are finishing your course in 4 years, you will have the experience of the 4 years, and you will have your degree for 4 years, which will make it easy for you to penetrate the employment sector. And then business-wise, we have been meant to believe that huge businesses above 1 million kwacha should be for the Chinese, should be for the white people, should be for these people of foreign origin. God will never give us another Zambia. God will never give us more opportunities than he has given us now. Minerals, you know, natural resources. I want to be encouraging Zambians to take part. And mostly the young people, because we need to have our own Dangotes. We've got everything here. If Dangote can come from Nigeria and set up a cement plant here, why can't we have our own Dangote? Why are the Chinese, the white people, so interested in Zambia? Because they've seen what we have here. So if at all rich people can come here, then we can make our own rich people from here. And I'll advocate for certain things like one of the things that I'll face without even hesitation or even favor or fear will be the Procurement Act. The current Procurement Act in Zambia does not favor Zambians or small medium enterprises. And this only favors those that are already established of people of foreign origin. As a result, unemployment levels, poverty keep on increasing. But you can't say, let me tell you what I want to say. You can't say a business below 50,000 kwacha or which does not qualify to go for that tender threshold. That same business, you want to give it to a person of foreign origin. You want to give it to an already established organization. No, it doesn't work like that. First of all, we have to extend that to about 500,000 kwacha. If we extend it to 500,000 kwacha, then we put a restriction today to say it's strictly for Zambians. And we promote SMEs. That is the only way we can keep money in circulation. I think you saw the late President Levi Patrick Manawasa did that at some point.
Yes.
That is the only way we'll keep money in circulation. If we are building we are doing our roads, we are doing our airports, we are doing our universities, we are doing our hospitals, those that are coming from outside with the necessary expertise to come and do the works, they must get graduates from the University of Zambia, CBU, and other institutions of higher learning, be part of their team. Immediately they are done, those graduates, they must remain in Zambia doing similar works.
All right, I'm enjoying the interview. Let us go on a short break. All right, welcome back. We are still vibing. Remember, I'm at Maxwell Chongu's place. Yeah, and we're still chatting. We're talking about a lot of things, talking about politics, talking about relationships, and trust me, I've learned a lot, and I believe you have also learned a lot. I guess you just knew the other part of him. and it's now important to also know the other side of him. All right, I'm still enjoying the interview. Actually, I've learned a lot. Actually, there's a lot of wisdom that I've learned from you. Now we're in looking at COVID-19. How are you campaigning? How is the strategy? Looking at things have changed now, social distance and so forth.
I think the people from the Ministry of Health have given us guidelines. And for our party, as the Patriotic Front Party, we're just adhering to the guidelines that have been set up by the Ministry of Health and other medical practitioners. However, we still have other channels of, doing campaigns. For instance, we've got blogs, we've got social media, we've got all these things, and we're taking advantage of them and then try to use them to the fullest. Yeah.
No, okay. But don't you think it has affected you?
There's another side of that coin which you have just tossed. The answer can be yes or no, depending on how we handle it. But with what the Patriotic Front government has done under the leadership of President Edgar Chagwa Lungu, it has made it easy because people are able to see this, and with the advancements in terms of technology, even if you haven't gone to listen in person to what the president is saying or what Max is saying in terms of maximizing the presidential vote, you'll be able to see it on social media, you'll be able to see it in blogs, you'll be able to see it from other media platforms.
Yes, but we're seeing you politicians, you are saying one thing and you're doing another thing. We're seeing your political leaders, both in the ruling party as well as the opposition political party. We're seeing a lot of gatherings, and Wallace, you're telling people to keep the social distancing and so forth, to adhere to COVID-19. What's your take?
Okay, as for me, maybe whenever we have such a meeting, I think you have seen a lot of people putting on face masks, and we have still maintained that 1 meter social distance. And
the grouping?
Yeah, I'm talking about myself. Yeah, so I would not speak on behalf of others as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm enjoying the interview. Now, finally, your final words to your supporters and the viewers. What's your final?
I think my message to the people of Kaffir is that I know a lot of people have asked questions. No, maybe it's just assisting PF members or what. No. I believe that darkness cannot be used to remove darkness. It's light that can be used to remove darkness. I also believe that hatred cannot be used to remove hatred. It's love that can be used to remove hatred, So for us as PF members, I also want to extend this to fellow PF members, leaders that are going around assisting people or helping people in their areas of jurisdiction in terms of constituencies, districts, provinces, and so on and so forth. To say, look, when we are helping, let us not look at our political jackets. Let us not say, no, to the PF. Whatever we are doing, the president has already set the precedent or the tone. He has said, he has taken development to Wengwa. Is it Wengwa?
Yes.
He has also taken development to Dundumwezi, where he was rejected. So if we believe in President Edgar Chagwa Lungu's leadership, if we are his subordinates, if we are his followers or disciples, so to speak, we must do that which he's doing on the ground in terms of the people of Zambia. So our style in Kaffir is not targeted on PF members alone, and we've made it clear that problems affect each and every person. If you are saying the UPND we shouldn't give them, then what do you mean when you say no, let's go and mobilize the party? Because mobilizing the party, you go and bring people to the party. Exactly. You cannot be preaching to the already converted. You want to preach to PF members to say, yo, to Aisa kunonomba mgomishita mobilize. No, we must be able to.
Already,
yeah. So the only way those people will come back to the party that could have left knowingly or unknowingly is if we show them love. If we show them that we are there to take care of them. And that is the stance that we have taken. We are assisting. We are not looking at political jackets in Kaffir. We are assisting whether you're UPND, you're what. You'll be able to make a decision to say, at the time I was in need, the person who was there for me was this person. And you make a correct decision when it comes to voting.
But you are in the ruling party. Don't you have time? You are the people that sit down with these people that make decisions. Don't you sit down? Don't you talk about these issues when you sit down with these political players?
I talked to a lot of leaders. You see, even in Bemba they say amano yafumamu ifwesa ingira mchuru. Some of them, they get what we talk about, and it has worked perfectly fine. For instance, I was advocating to say there is no need of us to be allowing people to import oranges and these other things that we can produce here. To promote our local industry, let's put a ban to that. Today I've heard a statement that there has been a ban on certain products that can be produced in Zambia. Wow. So it is working well for Zambia.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. But others might not take it because, you see, there's this habit with our leaders to say, look, they are forgetting that wisdom and knowledge, they're two different things. Knowledge can be gotten from school, from primary school, from secondary school, from the university, colleges, and all sorts of things. But wisdom comes from God. So we've got all these rich sayings. I wonder why our leaders don't pay attention to them. Even in Eastern Province, they'll tell you that Chisiro Chinaona Nkon. So just because I'm an ordinary card and someone is driving a VX does not mean that I cannot give them advice that works perfectly fine. So it's up to those leaders that are wise enough. They'll take it and it's working. Today people are happy to hear that, okay, certain things. I mean, how do you expect to improve the agriculture sector if 75% of what it's supposed to give to the nation, you're allowing it to come from outside? How can we revamp industries like nitrogen chemicals of Zambia if fertilizer is allowed to come from South Africa and other countries? Why not doing it there? So those are things that we advocate for, and some things leaders listen to that. And yeah.
Wow. All right, thank you very much for making an appearance on The Vibe with Leon.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
All right, thank you.
In case you want to make your way on The Vibe with Leon, you're a top politician, you're a top celebrity, all you have to do is call us on 0979 740921. This is The Vibe with Leon.